Everybody, what's happening? This is Thursday, August 20th, 2020. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Keith, my brother Keith, what's happening, brother? How you doing, man?
What up? MPG Horns in the building.
Yeah. Shout out. Well, let's go ahead and get started. This is the 12th episode of Brandon Robertson's Soul Hour. And I am ecstatic. I'm ecstatic, and oh man, I have one of the most loving, coolest brothers on the planet. Me and this brother go way
back.
Back to the days when we was broke. For those that don't know what broke means, it means when you're broke and you can't afford the B to spell broke. That's what me and this gentleman were. He is an award-winning saxophonist, international saxophonist. He is a master of all the saxes: soprano, alto, tenor. Do you play Barry at all?
I just got one.
Oh, okay. I figure you do. He is a international recording artist. Since he's my brother, I'm gonna try to be humble when I say these names because me and him are so close. It's kind of weird when you start name dropping stuff because you don't want to seem, Adrian, you know where I'm coming from, man. But he's worked with the likes of Bette Midler, CeeLo Green, Brian Culbertson. Who else am I? Lionel Richie. Who else am I missing, Adrian? Who else am I missing? Anthony Hamilton.
Aja, Casey and JoJo, Charlie Wilson, Foreplay, Naked Lunch. Florida State salsa band.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And last but not least, he left out the most important name of all, which we're going to get into that a little later in the show. He was humbled and had the prestige honor of recording, working with, touring, and being in the same space as the artist formerly known as Prince. Everybody, Prince. And Adrian is, to me, the encyclopedia of Prince music. And so we'll get into that later. But I want to introduce everyone. I want everybody to welcome to the show Mr. Adrian Crutchfield. Hey.
What's up,
Adrian,
man?
what's up, brother, man? How you doing, man?
Man. I'm cooling, man. Just in here, trying not to get sick or get shot.
Trying not to get sick or get shot. So, Adrian, you are located where, my brother? Where are you at right now?
I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, man. It's home. It's been home for a long time, man. So I figured, what better place to be than the place I grew up. So
shout out to Charlotte. I'm going to do one thing before we continue because I want to say, Keith, what's up, brother? Isaiah, I see you watching. Manny, what's good? What's happening? Angel, what's happening? And that is mommy. Yeah. What's up, mommy?
Oh,
hey,
That's an old friend there.
Yeah. What's happening? Okay, I just wanted to make sure I could shout out everybody who is chiming in right now. So, Adrian, man, let's get into it, man. So, first of all, what's life been like for you, man, in quarantine, with this whole COVID situation?
Man, it's really interesting. Like I have my own space, creative space here in my loft, and I'm super lucky to have it because most people don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been able to really just kind of create, anytime. And my neighbors are cool; they don't really bother me, so I can really kind of create whenever I want to. And I had to realize that most people don't have that. So they've always got to go and rent a place. And they got to go during the hours that it's open and et cetera. But during a quarantine, you can't do any of that.
Right.
And then you're kind of stuck in the house with your family. And most people have, a family, so they really don't have any real private space dedicated like I do.
Right.
I'm super thankful to have it. So when the quarantine hit, I mean, it was hard it was hard, but I had this, and so I was able to keep creating, and just kind of live. I mean, for the first when I got home off the road in March, like at the end of March
Mm-hmm.
or mid March, actually. Yeah, I got home in mid March, and I didn't leave my apartment for 8 weeks. Like when they said quarantine, I quarantined. So I didn't leave. I was here. I was getting groceries delivered. Yeah, I wasn't wearing underwear. It was just like it was great. But it was cool. So I quarantined, and but I was here just creating, and I have this great space. So I'm super thankful for that.
And it's crazy, man. I'm looking at your backdrop with all the saxophones you got there, man. What's your collection? Tell the people what you working with, man. So I can see it, but I kind of don't know what you working with back
I
there.
got more than you can see, bro. I got more than let's just say that I got a lot of horns, man. I have saxophones in every room in my house.
Bruh.
My saxophones set, they just set up, ready to go. So whenever I feel like playing, I can just grab a horn and play.
Okay.
Usually, I know most people they get a horn, they play it, and then they move on to another one or whatever. I don't. I get too attached. So like I've still got my first horn that I ever played. I still got it.
The silver one? That
Uh,
the real tin one looking one?
no, actually, that one was stolen. That one
No.
was stolen a while ago. A long story, uh, but no. Other than that, the first one, my first horn was just a regular gold Yvette Crampon Buffet
Mm-hmm.
horn that my mom got me for Christmas when I was like 4 years old, and then before that was my Casio electronic horn that Kenny G gave me, and that's how I started. So
Mm.
I've got everything except for my Cannonball silver horn that you knew. That's the horn you knew because
Well, yeah,
that's the horn I
right.
played in college.
You're
Yeah.
right. Speaking of Kenny G,
Yeah.
it's funny. I was gonna bring that up, but since you had already mentioned his name, let's segue into that. I remember, I remember that you was given that saxophone at a real early age by Kenny G, and that
Yeah.
kind of was like your signature path of. It was like your rite of passage of you have been chosen. It's like
Yeah.
Yoda, you know, Yoda's telling Luke, "Hey, you the one. This
Yeah.
is this is it." So what was matter of fact, can let the folks know how did that happen? Like how did you end up in the space of Kenny G as a little boy and was given an actual horn by him himself?
My parents were going to a concert, and oh, my mom's here. She could tell you.
Hey mama Dibbs. We was talking about you earlier.
I know. She could tell you about it. But yeah. So we were going to. Well, my parents were going to a concert. They got tickets
Mhm.
to go see Kenny G, and I was that child in my town. I'm from Roanoke, Virginia. It's a little town in Virginia. Uh,
Mhm.
I was the kid in that town that nobody really wanted to deal with, because I was a problem. I was too
Still a
much.
problem.
I'm still a problem, but I was really a problem then,
Right, right.
because I didn't understand consequences of repercussions back then. So I just did what I wanted to do, uh,
Facts.
and I had a tough hide, so whoopings didn't really. I endured. So anyway, no babysitter wanted to deal with me that night, so my family had to take me with them. And
Mhm.
luckily, they didn't really make a big deal about it, because I was a kid, so I didn't need a ticket or anything like that. So
Right.
um, we had floor seats, and Kenny G was playing, and he saw me on my dad's shoulders, and he stopped and he was like, "I think I just saw a kid in my audience," and
Oh.
he thought it was strange that there was like a 4 or 5 year old in the jazz concert.
Right.
So he investigated, and then they found me, and they brought me up on stage, and he asked me a bunch of questions, asked me if I wanted the horn, and I said yeah, and so he gave me the horn. That's what kicked off everything.
Do you still own that horn?
Yeah, I got it.
Bruh. Let me
Yeah.
guess. If you had to put that on eBay, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. He's like, look, because Kenny gonna look that up. He's like, hey, bro.
I thought about it. I thought about
Oh,
it.
hold up. Before we could Willem, if Willem is watching this right now, you remember Willem, man.
Dallas Fort? Willem
Yeah,
Dallas?
bro. He's tuned in, man. Willem, what's happening, brother? I just seen you popped up. That's the homie.
That's the
Yeah,
homie.
man. Ryan, I see you. You know what I'm saying? Karina, how you doing? Nada doing? Karen, how you doing?
Yeah, man.
How you doing? Brandon, I see you chiming in. How you doing? Yeah, I just thought I gotta shout people out, man, as they coming in. But yeah, man, that's funny because I remember when you told me you met Kenny G, and then the first time I heard you play, I said, "Man, you sound like Kenny G." And then you kind of chuck, yeah, you did just that. You kind of chuckled and say, "I have his horn." With a
Yeah, I
straight
was like,
face.
I got
I
that.
was like, "What?"
Yeah.
But man, tell me a little bit. Tell the audience about your background in Charlotte. So you went to a performing arts school in Charlotte,
I did.
and there was a lot of people in your class actually from your school that are in the industry that have gone off to get some success. How is
Yeah,
how is that, man? How is it that
cool,
you?
man. I went to so in Charlotte, I went to this school called the Northwest School of the Arts here, and it's in the hood, bro. I mean, like when I tell you, like literally 2 blocks away was this street called LaSalle Street.
Mhm.
LaSalle Street is like was rated like at the time was rated like in the top 10 most dangerous neighborhoods in the country.
Oh wow.
Uh, which was dope to us because everywhere else in the community we were looked at as outcasts and weirdos. You know what I'm saying? The artsy kids were the weirdos, and
Right.
oftentimes got picked on. I mean, I got into Pete Carroll. What's up, bro?
Pete,
I,
what's happening?
I got picked on. I got into fights because I
Mhm.
wanted to play music instead of playing football and whatever else everybody else wanted to do. Uh,
Mhm.
so I was constantly fighting for respect, literally fighting. And so when I got to Northwest, it was an environment that was more welcoming. Number one, but then number two, we were right there in the hood, like even the outskirts, like even the surrounding area of the school
Mhm.
demanded respect. So if you could survive there, or if you earned your respect there, then everywhere else in the world you pretty much like were okay. It
Right.
made me kind of gave me a little bit of courage. Um, it just gave me oh, you see who just came in, right?
Yeah, I seen it. Kalena, what's happening? Nelly, what's happening? Brandy, what
No.
up? What up? What up? What up?
Listen, so
Yeah.
side note. When I
Uh,
first got to Florida State, it was me, you, and this little firecracker of a dude, Nelson. Y'all were two of my first friends at Florida State. That is crazy. And Kalina's here. Everybody,
Kalena,
no, the
the
squad is
squad,
showing up.
the squad is pulling up right now.
Dream
Hey,
team is in here,
hey,
boy.
Kalena, I need you to share this post and tell your people to pull up. Come on now. You already know. What's up, girl? We know we love you.
Here.
But yeah, man.
Nelson. And wait, and I can't
Oh,
forget
oh,
shout outs to Cheeky. Okay.
yes.
Gotta
Shout out to
say
Chichi.
shout outs to Cheeky.
Rest in peace,
Nelson
Chichi.
had this Chihuahua mix. I don't know if he was he full blood Chihuahua? I don't know.
Nah, 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 nah. I don't
This
think
dog
so.
had the biggest balls you would ever seen in your life.
Oh Lord, have mercy,
And
Jesus.
he knew it. And he knew it. And he knew it. He just exuded confidence, this dog. I had so
Why?
much respect for that dog, man.
Hey, but guess what though? Now that he's moved on to a bigger and better place in life,
Oh yeah.
we have the memories to hold down. So you
Oh
already
yeah.
know. But what I was gonna say too, man,
Yeah.
when you was getting back to like when you was at the school, you was explaining that coming from that hard place and transitioning to this more welcoming place, man, did that help segue you into a more refined path of music, and what you wanted to do as a career?
Oh yes. Oh yeah. So first of all, hey Adam, is my mic okay? Are the levels good?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yes, going to school actually helped me to refine everything, just my outlook and how I'm seeing all the comments and
Yeah.
just how I looked at the whole aspect of having a career in music. Everybody thinks that being an artist means the fame and the fortune, but really, what you really want is the success, and that's what I learned in school was that 9 times out of 10, this ain't something you're gonna get rich doing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but if you understand that and you still want to do it, especially if you understand that not only are you probably not going to get rich, you might, but probably not going to get rich, and you're going to struggle to do this. If you understand that and you still want to do it, then this is your thing. Like that's when you know that this is what you should be doing.
Right.
You know, if you still choose to do it after understanding that you're gonna struggle and you're probably not gonna get rich and you're probably gonna have to constantly be fighting for respect and those things, then do it. If you still want to do it at that point, because
Right.
that can deter a lot of people.
Yeah, and I also feel too that if you already figured out that that's what you want to do, it ain't going to there's nothing that's going to stop you, which
Yeah.
actually leads me to my point number 2 that I wanted to go into with you. I remember when you and I was living together, and me and you used to always talk about, like, what's going to happen if one of us make it? Like, who's going to be the one that's going to dip out first? And Adrian, everybody, didn't even make it to his junior year. He didn't even make it that far. he got picked. Who was Anthony Hamilton? I think it was Anthony Hamilton.
Yeah.
Anthony picked him up, and that was it. I ain't see him. He was still living in Tallahassee, but
I came back. No, I finished.
No, you can't. Well, yeah, you finished, but I'm saying, like, you left. Like,
I left. I did. I went on tour.
Pete did too.
Yeah, Pete,
Dave Stewart, all y'all left.
Dave went out with Al Green, so
y'all all left. So this is going to segue into this section.
Yeah.
We have a lot of people who are watching, and I have a lot of students and musicians that I'm aware of that they always talk about the tour life. Like, man, I want to tour. I want to get out there on the road. I want to do this. And so maybe talk about it a little bit. Like, man, what's your experiences like touring internationally, nationally, some of the artists that you've worked with, and what's the difference between what they do versus like what you're accustomed to, like on your own, like when you do your own.
Yeah. I mean, it's different. Every tour is different, but I do think that touring is a great experience. I love to travel. Ironically, I'm not the guy that goes on tourism things. I don't go. I'm not a tourist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't go see the sights. I don't do anything. I literally stay at the hotel. I eat Wendy's. I don't do anything extravagant, but I just love being in different places. I love immersing myself in kind of like just living in different places, or the thought of living in other places.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only time I'm really like comfortable. Like when I'm at home, I have anxiety. So this has been super crazy. It took a long time for me to get used to being home. I've never been home this long. Like I said, I came home at like mid-March, and I've been home ever since. I've never been home that long.
Oh, I know.
And so, yeah, so, I was anxious. And so, but yeah, so touring is super killing because it allows you to experience other cultures. And essentially you're being paid to do it. You're being paid to go to these places and enjoy these cultures and enjoy these, these views and all of this stuff. So it's really great. Another thing that it does is it shows you another side of the industry that you might not be exposed to. And it teaches you. Like I learned, as far as being an artist, I learned what I should expect organization-wise in my own productions by watching what was going on in these tours with Anthony Hamilton or Prince or whoever. I would watch the production manager and the tour managers, and I would watch and see what they were doing. And I knew I couldn't afford to have a production manager or a tour manager, but I knew I wanted my stuff to be as organized. So, it's just a big learning experience. And that's all I can say about it. It's just a great way to learn. Going to school, no disrespect to school, you know how much I hated school. In particular,
I know.
You know how much I hated it.
I remember.
But I did it, because I knew I needed to.
Right.
And I loved the experience because I networked. I mean, lifelong relationships I formed there. But there's nothing like that real, like on the site experience. You could be you could be the master of chess, but if you've never been on the battlefield, you ain't gonna win the war.
Right.
So that's kind of what I learned on the road is the real time, effect.
So I'm curious, because and for those who are watching, like, this is the first time I've ever talked to Adrian about any of this, because
he doesn't bring this stuff up with
me. A lot of my friends, and even to some extent, not all my family, it's just certain individuals, but they assume that, like, they're like, man, you got these ties with all these famous people. I'm like, they're not. I
I'll be
don't
right back. Hold up. You can keep talking though. I'll
know.
be.
Good. No, but I was saying like we not I was like, nah, they not like famous. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing famous about any of my friends, with the exception of the fact that we have a relationship with each other, and I try to explain. I at least try to explain to people that at least the folks that I'm associated with, I never try to boast about like, oh, I know so and so because they so and so here and they doing this, doing that, and the third. Nah, it's not even like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I really appreciate the fact that having a friend like Adrian. Adrian has been wonderful with me. He's been a wonderful uh, uh, colleague. You know what I'm saying? We've had each other's back. He's supported me over the years through music, and so I never try to honestly look at any of my friends like they're famous, even with all the success that they might have had, during their careers. So I just think it's funny, man, that when I tell people, you've worked with Prince, or you've worked with Lionel Richie or whatever, and they're just like, how do you know? I was like, nah, man, that's because he's good at what he does. He's the best at what he does. So before I jump into what's going to lead us into the record portion of the show, man, what was it like? Like, I'm very curious. What is a tour like with Lionel Richie versus CeeLo Green? Because I'm thinking about Lionel Richie and his popularity and the type of crowd that would attend his concerts versus someone like CeeLo Green. When I think of CeeLo, all I hear is Goody Mob. So that's like like I can't imagine a CeeLo Green show without the ratchetness. I just can't.
I mean,
So
yeah.
what's the difference? Like, what's the difference?
Well, the thing is, you'd be surprised. The crowds are actually very similar. Because you got to understand this. CeeLo actually has a really diverse following, because he's not just ratchet. I mean, yeah, that's the same thing I would think is, Goody Mob. What I learned on the road with CeeLo. Half the time, there's a lot of people out there who don't realize his, like Gnarls Barkley. They don't realize it's CeeLo.
CeeLo, yeah.
They're not putting that together. And so, just the fan base is similar to the Lionel Richie fan base. I mean, of course, the Lionel Richie thing is a way bigger production, because most of the time when we go out on the road with CeeLo, it's not a huge band. I learned a lot from him in that aspect. I used to get upset because I'd be like, why aren't we taking a band? Why are we playing a lot of tracks? But really, the fans are what I call muggles. So in the music industry, you remember Harry Potter?
Okay.
The Harry Potter movies?
Yeah.
So the non-magical people, no disrespect to the people who aren't musicians here, but the non-magical people, like the people who don't know about the magic realm that's beyond the veil, they refer to them as muggles, right? In the movie. And I like that because it gave me a word to put to people who don't really understand the music industry or know what's going on behind the scenes. They just see the finished product.
Right.
So what I learned from CeeLo was that the muggles don't really care about there being a live band or whatever. They just want to be there and see the artist.
Right.
And another thing I learned is, like, the muggles never say, you'll never hear the muggles, no disrespect, again, I'm not saying it as a derogatory term, but you'll never hear the muggles say, man, this is the best show I've ever heard. They never say that. You know what they say?
This is the best show I've ever seen.
This is the best show I've ever seen. That's all they ever. Oh man, you're the best sax player I've ever seen. You're the best rapper I've ever seen. This is the best concert I've ever seen. They never say heard. They never say it because they're not thinking that like that. They don't think that way. We're trained to think that way.
Right.
But they're not. It's a more natural response. to say this is the best thing I've ever seen, because it's the whole experience. So as long as your production is right and your lighting and all that stuff and the stage handling, everything is good, you know, the sound quality is supposed to be, of course, is going to be good because you know, the caliber,
Right.
but
Right.
that's not what they're paying attention to technically, you know? So, you know, a lot of times on the road, you'll see a band go out and they use what we call click tracks to
Mhm.
supplement the band. So if we can't bring a string section, the strings might be in the track, you know, or if we can't bring a full horn section, and some of the horns might be in the track, or if we can't bring percussion, some of that might be in the track. It might be a 4-piece band, but you hear like 10 instruments at one time. You know, nobody's really saying, "Hey, I heard percussion, but I don't see a percussion player." You know,
Right.
nobody's doing that.
Right. Right.
So I learned all of that being on the road with CeeLo and Lionel. And it's really, like I said, you know, every show is different, but a lot of the aspects and a lot of the values are the same. And so
Mhm.
I learned those core values being on the road with all these different people.
So like what happens when like how do you even get called, like I've always been curious, like in the music industry, like there has to be like a generic list or like a list of names that someone, like an artist, let's say Alicia Keys, is like, I need me a bomb saxophonist, like somebody that can really encapture my sound. So, and then she goes to her manager, who can we call? He said, well, let me pull up the music industry index. And then it's like, oh, Adrian Crutchfield. Like, let's give him a call. Look at all the people he's worked with. Like, how does that, I guess
Yeah.
I'm just curious because it's like I've always been curious. Like, I consider myself a muggle in that area. Like, I'm not a muggle completely. Like, I'm not green to the music industry, but I've always been green on how do you get a call for something like that? Like, how do they find you? Like, how do you even put yourself out there for somebody to find you like that?
It's really just about networking. And it's, you know, there's not really a so-called list. I thought there was. I think we all thought there was.
Right.
But that list doesn't really exist. It's really just about the network. It's about who you know and how much they like you. Because at the end of the day, speaking back on the tour thing,
Mm-hmm.
um, we know a lot of super killer musicians that are sitting at home because they got bad attitudes, or they're arrogant, or all of that above, or whatever. And they're like
Mm-hmm.
the dopest musicians you've ever heard, but they can't get a gig because nobody gets along with them. The thing you have to understand is when touring, you have to consider a few things.
Mm-hmm.
Number one being that this is somebody that you're going to be spending a lot of time with constantly. So how well do you guys get along? So that's what
Mm-hmm.
people are looking for, is like, is this person likable? Um, are they trainable? Are they humble? You know, so like they don't want somebody to come on the gig. I can't tell you how many times I've had an artist tell me they want a second line, like a New Orleans second line,
Mm-hmm.
but that's not actually what they want. They want, you know, what they saw on a commercial for a Zatarain's commercial or something, you know.
Right. Right. Right.
But I'm not gonna be like, hey, you're wrong. That's not what a second line is. My job is just to give them what they want and try to understand what they're asking for without belittling them. But some artists
Mm-hmm.
will be like, no, you're wrong. Blah, 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 blah. That ain't no second line. You know, that attitude isn't going to fly on the road. And then also, you have to understand that the artist is right, period.
Now that I've heard.
The artist is right.
Yeah.
The artist is the customer. That's who's paying you. So they're right, period. You can be upset, but guess what? If they're wrong, but you make them uncomfortable about being wrong, they're not the ones who's going to get sent home. You're going to get sent home, even if you're right. So you'll be right and you'll be at home. So you know,
When you say it like that, that's harsh.
but that's reality. So
Yeah.
touring,
Mhm.
um, that's the whole idea. Is with this whole so-called list. There's no list. It's just about who you know and how well they like you. Uh,
Mhm.
because and that's the thing, is that's what I got at school is, when I got out on the road, I started seeing a lot of familiar faces, and these are all the people I went to school with or that I ran into while I was in school. you know, just this summer, I think I ran into Ricardo Pascal
Yeah.
in the Netherlands, in Rotterdam.
Wow.
You know, I just came off stage with CeeLo, and I see this guy. Now he's missing. He doesn't have his fro,
Right.
but I see him, Ricardo Pascal, tenor sax player. I'm like Sugar Bush, because that's what he called.
Ah, yeah, Sugar
Yeah,
Bush.
like, but like it's
Yeah.
super cool to see people, like see all these familiar faces on the road. I love you, Pete. But
Oh,
Mike
oh,
Noodle's there.
hold on. Hold that thought for a second.
Yeah.
Mike, I got you, bro. I got you. Cause I promised him I was gonna tell him. Mike,
Uh,
I hope you watch it because I got you, bro. Okay, so my man Mike, that's my brother. That's my brother, right? He went to school with your sister
yes.
at Virginia,
And Virginia.
right?
Yep.
And he told me to tell you he needs you to come on back and visit because he been trying. You came and worked with his
Listen,
band,
I'm
and
coming.
then you need to contact Mike. I told you I was gonna tell
Coming.
him. I saw
Mike,
you chimed in.
listen, you already know, Mike, I'm coming.
Yeah,
There's this chick that been stalking me, and I'm trying to avoid her right now. Her name is Rona, and trying to keep away from her because she's messing up a lot of people's lives. And
right.
but as soon as they get Rona in control, I'm coming on down.
Yeah. I'm glad he chimed in because boy, we had a long conversation about that. He's like,
It was super funny.
you better tell Adrian when you talk to he better holler at me. Yo,
That's the
Mike,
homie.
and also shout out to Mike Cronoto. He's going to be coming to do a master class for my students for my jazz methods course. Please support that brother. He has his own business that he's doing. Please support him. Look him up on Facebook. He's in the comments section. Y'all make sure y'all check him out. All right. But
Yeah.
Adrian, let's get into the girth of the show. Oh no, not the afro, bro. Not the afro. Why you
I had to do it.
Oh my god, no.
You don't like the fro, man? Or you don't like
Bro, he brought me. Okay, man, we gonna tell that story at the very end of the show because you got it. Oh no, yo, you are putting me to shame, son. Yo, oh my god. Yo, let me tell y'all. Okay, put that picture back up, Adrian. So, okay, show that picture back real quick.
pulling it up?
The one with me and you. Okay, everybody, let me tell y'all about this picture right here that he's holding up to the screen, right? This picture, we both was, I think I was 19. I think y'all might have been 19 or 18 in that picture. I know Adrian we were about the same age. And we was broke, y'all. We used to eat Tortitas pizzas, 99 cents from Albertsons store. We would walk to the store, buy us a pizza, and we would split that joint between the two of us for a week. We would live off of a pizza for a whole week.
And we didn't have and we didn't even have silverware, so we would
didn't
put
have
it in the oven
silverware.
on a piece of like wood, and then like cut it with a plastic spoon. Yeah, it was serious.
Yo, okay, man. We have to bring that back. We gotta because I gotta tell people about the story with Kevin, but I wanna get into the premise of the show,
I
which
got
is
one more.
Oh, one more. Oh no! Oh no! Oh my god, bro. Yo, this man is outing me. Yo, you got all my fans watching this right now. All the people watching this, like, yo.
I'm hoping your students see this so I could.
Oh,
yeah.
a few of them just said, "Oh, professor, what are those?"
Hey, wait! I just found another one.
Oh no! There it is. Yep, there it is. So everybody, we literally used to live
Party
off of
pizza,
those
man.
things, man.
Party pizza.
I remember my mom was like, "Are you eating? Are you and Adrian eating? Like y'all both are just like
We were super skinny.
It was super skinny, man. But now we plumped and well and living good.
Oh yeah, we fed now. We fed.
So everybody, I know a lot of people y'all was curious about this, and this is the part I want to get into because this is what I was excited about. My dear close, my brother, I love him, Adrian, had the opportunity of a lifetime to work with one of the greatest artists that had ever lived on this earth and had ever blessed us with talent in his music. This is the artist formerly known as Prince. And I've asked Adrian with his permission, because, you know, again, everybody who was listening earlier, I don't like both. I boast about my friend's success, but I don't like name dropping, because that's just, I don't believe in that. You know, this is his job. You know, this is his occupation, and I respect that. And he's my friend, so I don't have to dwell on it. But in this case, in this situation, I needed to put this out, because I'm not only proud of him for having the opportunity to work with an artist like Prince, but I'm also a fan, and I'm just, you know, I can't. I'm lost with words, man. You just, let's just get into it, man. So everybody, I asked Adrian to pick his top. You know, I asked all my guests to come on the show. They have to select 3 songs, 3 soul songs that relate to my keywords, which are life, freedom, and perseverance. And I asked Adrian to pick his top 3 Prince songs that fall in that category. Okay, so we're gonna get into the first song, Adrian. 1999.
That's for life, right?
That's for life. 1999. So first of all, have y'all performed that song live when you were working with Prince? Did y'all perform that song?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay. And what made you choose life as the keyword for this particular song?
I mean, just the whole idea of the song, what he's talking about is kind of what we dealing with right now, you know. The quote unquote end of the world. Shout outs to Donald Trump. Yeah.
Boy,
So you know, we face some end times, bro. And so when I think about the whole life thing, first of all, it's really hard to pinpoint one song or one idea when it comes to Prince.
Yeah.
But when you look at 1999 and what he talks about in there, is just about life and living your life and trying those new experiences and going for it, because you know we could be gone. We could be gone any minute.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just wanted people to enjoy. And you know, he talked about, basically it's almost like, you know, what happens if the apocalypse comes right now? How are you going to react, or what are you going to do, or what are you going to wish that you did, or what are you going to wish that you didn't do? You know, get out there and do it. So that's why I picked that song. And
you being around Prince and being able to go to Paisley Park and you know, just being in that environment, was the synergy the same? Like, was it the same as it at his compound versus when y'all was on stage? Like, was the energy the same?
You know, I was terrified my first couple times. I was like, I didn't want to touch anything. I didn't know if I should make eye contact with him.
Right.
You know, I didn't know if I was supposed to speak to him or anything. So it was really weird. But I got to say, man, he was always super cool. Like, my first real interaction with him was like, we came, he asked me and Marcus Anderson to build a horn section for one of his artists. So when we got to Paisley Park, he came in, he snuck in. I didn't even see him come in. I didn't hear him come in. I turned around. I was literally getting ready to go to the bathroom. And I was there's a platform that we were on. Right. And I was walking down the platform, and he just kind of showed up. And, out of nowhere, man. He was like, he was a ninja, and he just like kind of just appeared.
Right.
And he was like, "Hey, Adrian, so glad you're here. I love your videos, love your music. You know, do you guys need anything? Can I get you anything?" And so I just kind of froze, because number one, it's him, and I'm like a 12-year-old girl, and this is Justin Bieber. You know, I'm like, you know, and so I didn't know what to say, but also he startled me. So I already had to pee. So I kind of peed a little bit and kind of regained my composure.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, we could use some waters, you know? And I thought he was going to like snap his fingers and some butlers were going to come out and bring us waters. Right. But he was like, okay. And he literally left, and I ran to the bathroom. And when I came back, he was walking in with like a bunch of waters under his arms. Like he
Wow.
came, he like brought him himself, and that was the first like real experience I had with him where I was like, oh, he's cool. Like he actually did it. Like
Right.
he didn't send somebody off to go do this. He's very hospitable.
Right.
And then after that, it was just a matter of I noticed that he tended to enjoy when people treated him like one of the homies or one of the fellas. He
That's
didn't
what's up.
like being. I think I called him boss one time, and one of the management corrected me and said, "Don't call him that."
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so after that, it was like I just found a way every time to make him feel comfortable, almost by like not necessarily putting him down, but like I would, I would
Show yeah,
roast him, like I
right.
would talk trash, or I would like, like he would come in the room sometimes and he would go around and say stuff to people, and I'd look at him and I'd be like, "Hey man, acknowledge me, give me a hug," like what's up, bro? You all right? And then he would ease up. But so yeah, it was different than the environment out on the road. But he was always consistent, like with us. He was quiet when he didn't know you, but once he
Mm-hmm.
got to know you, he opened up. It was great.
Did he treat y'all any differently when y'all was like performing, like when y'all was like on stage?
No, that's another thing I really respected is that his band, he expected his band to be treated the same way he was treated.
Mm,
So it wasn't like it was Prince and the band. It was the band. He was a member of the band.
that's what's up.
So
That's
so
what's up.
everything that was done, like he expected us to be treated the same way, and I super respected that. And he treated us accordingly. He treated us with that respect too.
Oh man, that's killing. That's killing. So what about this second song here for Freedom? You picked Party Up. That's like one of my favorite Prince songs, by the way.
Yeah,
Like my
yeah,
mom loves that
yeah,
song. So you picked that one for Freedom. Why did
yeah.
you pick that one for Freedom?
It's the chant. It's the chant at the end.
The
That's what
chant.
made me think about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, you're gonna have to fight your own damn war. We don't want to fight no more. Uh,
Exactly.
and that's real freedom. Is like when you're not obligated or uh, what's the word I'm looking for? It's I guess obligation. When you
Mm-hmm.
don't have that obligation to fight for something that you don't believe in, you know, oftentimes you see, when we have soldiers out there, the majority of the time they're fighting for something that they don't necessarily believe in. They're just defending home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's not real freedom if you're being forced to do it.
Mm.
So that's what made me think about it is, you know, you're gonna have to fight your own damn war because we don't want to fight anymore.
And
And
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's real. Like I have no problem speaking on wars and all that religion, whatever. I have no problem with anyone from any other culture or any other belief system. And if we are to go to war, the thing is, I'm not really trying to fight because that's not my fight. I don't have a problem with these people. You have a problem with these people, so you fight them. Like,
Mm. That's
don't bring me into it or my family. So like that's freedom to me. Is
do you
if I can choose that.
do you think that because Prince, from what the public was able to see, when he made his transitions with Warner Brothers, do you think Prince felt freedom towards the end of his life with his
Yes.
music?
Yeah.
Because I can hear, you can hear this evolution, like I would say, because me and you have had discussions, but like
Yeah.
you can hear the evolution like mid 2000s,
Yeah.
where there's a shift and you're like, whoa, this is like powerful music. Like he's already made powerful music in the past, but like there's something different, you know? And so do you think that freedom, like, do you think he was more expressive towards the end of his life, like in his music?
I think he just got to a point where he was always expressive,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that if you look at the timeline, Prince signed with Warner Brothers when he was like 17 years old, right? He didn't know what he was getting into, and labels weren't really, the best at taking care of their artist. It was more so about just kind of creating a stable
Right.
and optimizing or utilizing that stable and taking whatever you want. That's what labels were known for. That's why
Mm-hmm.
Prince would always tell people not to sign with a label. But through his whole career, what you'll see in Prince's career, and this is what I always admired, it was this chess game going on between him and the label where he would sign with them and then they would like take advantage. And then after a while, you started seeing him fight back. And the way he fought back was more mental than anything. So he would
Mm.
he would re-sign with them and promise them a bunch of stuff, and then they would accept the deal, and then he would do his, he would do what he needed, the requirements for the deal, but he wouldn't give them any of the things he promised them. So like then once he was done with the deal and they had paid him, he would use that money to put the music out that he wanted to put out on his own. And then that music would be super successful, and then the label would be mad because they didn't get it.
We
And
call that hustling.
that's a hustle. He would hustle. And it was super dope because, labels are always hustling artists. And here you have an artist that hustled the label time and time again. And so you just had to give him that respect. So at the end, I think he got to a point where he just wanted to play the music that he wanted to play. He just wanted to have fun and experiment and push the boundaries without really feeling obligated to deliver anything in particular. And that's what we were doing with the little quartet that we had with Mono Neon.
Yo, which by the way, shout out to Mono Neon, because he is probably him and Thundercat, man. Between the two of them dudes, I just get automatically inspired just watching them play bass, bro. Like on some real, like if you want to try to get down, like down, like what
them boys.
So let me ask you this, because Prince generation, the multitude of fans and people who grew up listening to Prince. I mean, I'm probably a product of one of Prince's songs. I'm pretty sure of it. I'm pretty sure that my parents at some point was listening to Prince and I got conceived. I'm saying it like it is. Every kid who was born in the mid 80s, from 1980 till about 86. Yeah, you was a Prince baby.
Listen, it was either Prince, Luther, or Teddy. One of them three got you here.
Yeah. So now, Prince got to a point in his career where he owned his masters, his publishing. He's making the music that he wants. He's total free of any kind of slavery restrictions of the music industry.
Yeah.
And now the last term that I use for this show is perseverance. You chose Let's Go Crazy. Do you think Prince was going crazy, having these mental battles with the record label, and finally persevered through getting his masters and his intellectual property back? Like, what made you choose Let's Go Crazy?
Just that one lyric. Are we gonna let the elevator take us down?
Woo!
Oh no.
Woo!
That's perseverance. If you face a struggle, I mean, like I said, just look at his whole career. In the end, his whole career was a back and forth battle for creative rights to his stuff. When you sign with a label, they basically tell you what you're going to do with your art, and they have that authority. They can tell you what you can and can't release. They can tell you how you're supposed to look. They can tell you all of that. You have no creative control. That's why he started writing "Slave" on his face.
I remember that at his shows. Yeah, you would see that. Yeah.
So when he, in like 2013, and I was telling you about this. I remember being in Paisley Park when the reps from Warner Brothers came, and we were recording. We were recording a bunch of music, and they came, and he let them sit in on the recording session and hear a bunch of the stuff that we were playing. And he basically sold them on that. Like, this is what I'm working on. Do you guys want in? Pretty much.
Right.
And they were super excited. And that's how he signed that deal that gave him back the rights to all of his stuff, which was like this epic. Nobody's ever done that before. He got back the creative rights and licensing to all of his material for the last 30 years, right? And in return, Warner Brothers wanted like 3 albums, I think, or something like 3 or 4 albums. So he gave them like 3 albums, none of which had the music that he had let them hear.
Wow.
None of the music that we recorded was on those. I mean, well, like one or 2 of the songs is on there, but none of the ones they were super excited about. And then, so that was like Hit and Run, Phase 1, Artificial Age, and Plectrum Electrum. Those albums are the ones he gave to the label. And then he released another record called Hit and Run Phase 2, on his own. And Hit and Run Phase 2 had like 60% of the stuff that we had played on it that he had promised to give them.
Right.
But he released it on his own. That is like the ultimate hustle. So, that's what makes me think about perseverance. It's like he devised this plan and he implemented it. And just when they thought that they had him cornered and they had him under control, he showed them why he was who he was again. And it's like
fool me once, shame
Yeah.
on you. Fool me twice.
Yeah, so it was like it was the super hustle. It was like, dang, man, that's a player move.
Wow.
And I'll always respect it because I've never seen anybody else overpower the labels like that.
And what can you say, man? What was
Yeah.
the greatest advice that Prince gave you, or might have, or if you've ever asked him for any advice? I don't know if you've ever even.
Two things come to mind. The first one, we were rehearsing the song Mutiny, and I had the saxophone feature on that song.
Mhm.
Why he chose me to do it, I don't know, but he would always call me for the solo. And when we first started doing it, as a horn players, we tend to really, really get excited when we get the opportunity to solo, and we go overboard.
Mhm.
So we just play too much. And I remember in rehearsal, he stopped me and he said, you're not having a conversation. And I was like, what does that mean? And he said, well, you should give your audience time to process what you're saying and respond. And then you continue the conversation.
Hmm.
And I was like, well, I don't understand. I was looking stupid because I'm like, I'm nervous and I'm thinking this is his way of telling me I suck, but he's like, just, play something that sounds like you're introducing yourself. Hey, my name's Adrian. And then let them say, hey, Adrian, blah, blah, and then respond. I'm a sax player and this is what I like and this is how I feel. How do you feel about it? Well, this is how I feel about how you feel. That's a conversation. So take the time to breathe and listen and allow people to digest what you're doing. And that space is important in any kind of playing. Space is everything because it's just like talking. Music is a language. It's just another language. That's all. When you break it down, music is another form of language, an expression. So that was the first piece of advice that he gave me that really stuck with me. The second one was our last conversation, and in that point, he asked me why I wasn't putting out more solo records, and I told him that I liked being the Maceo to his James Brown, and I thought that he would be like really into that or pleased by it, but he wasn't. He was actually kind of pissed at me, and he said you're an artist just like I am. And he's like, that's cool. He said, you'll always have a place here. But he said, James is dead. What's Maceo doing now? And I was like, dang. And he said, after that, he said, sometimes you have to take a leap for yourself. And that's why I created my album Leap.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Dang, that's a crazy. Everybody who's watching, hey, that's a great backstory because I've known this man for 15 years now. And I remember when he dropped Private Party. I got the matter of fact, there's the poster. You can see the poster right there on my wall, right there.
Yeah.
Private Party, from your first album.
From the first record, yeah.
What did I say on there? Brenzino.
Bros
before hoes, you dig?
Dig. That was our joke. We used to say that every day.
Yeah. You dig?
Oh man, you got me. I'm about to be saying that forever now.
Yeah, bro. I got that every time one of my saxophone students walk in my office, they'll see that poster and they're like, "Did he really write that on your poster?" I was like, "Yeah, that's Adrian." but you know what, man? That's so true, man. That's why I wanted to ask you what was the advice that Prince gave you, because I've always, aside from you being my best friend, man, I've always respected you as an artist. I remember watching you shed, and you had your little MIDI keyboard in your room, and we was in the closet recording. I remember where to start from. So
I still got that keyboard.
Oh, yep, there it is. and it's dope, man. So for him, for Prince, for someone like Prince to tell you, bro, you're an artist. Like Maceo, what is he doing? James Brown dead. That's heavy. Cause look now, and I hate to say it in this context, but
what happened after that?
Yeah, that's what I said. Look what happened now. Like he's now transitioned, and it's almost like he's probably up there thinking, okay, Adrian, what you doing?
Yeah, what are you gonna do now?
What are you gonna do now? So which leads me, we're now in the phase at the end of the show, but I want to take some questions. We had a question come in from obviously from one of our good dear friends, Nelly Bow. Nelly asked, man, how you met Mono, man?
Oh man, so what's crazy? So Prince was looking again. Prince had this thing about he would recruit musicians. At the time, he was producing Judith Hill, singer-songwriter who was featured. You've seen her on 20 Feet from Stardom. She was the one singing duets with Michael Jackson on This Is It on the tour.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I know exactly.
So she was at the time she was signed to Sony. I think she's still signed to them. I don't know, but Prince produced. Prince and the rest of the band, we produced a whole album for her. I think it was called Time Machine. So shout outs to Judith. Any of the horns you hear on that album, that's MPG horns.
MPG, okay.
But no, so we produced this record, and at the time Prince was really kind of pushing the whole Third Eye Girl thing.
Right,
so
right.
I left and I went and started touring with Bette Midler at the time because I had bills to pay. So no, so while I was out, I got a call, and he was like, management called me and said, "Hey, do you know Mono Neon?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know who it is. That's the bass player kid that always has the mask on." And they're like, "Yeah." They're like, "Do you know him?" And I said, "I mean, no, but I could probably find him. I could probably get a hold of him. Why?" And they didn't say anything after that. And then I got another call, and it was another call from like the same number, but it was never, because you never got a call from Prince. He didn't have a phone that you could call.
Right.
But I got a call, and it was Prince's voice, and he's like, "Hey, do you know Mono?" And I said, "Mono Neon?" I said, "I know who he is." And he said, "Call him." I was like, and first of all, I'm thinking, I'm not even at Paisley. I'm not really even doing anything at Paisley. So why is he calling me and asking me?
Right.
Out of all the people, why is he asking me? And I was like, well, I don't know him, man, but I could probably find him on Facebook. What, you want him to come out to Paisley? And he just goes, "Call him." Click.
Bruh, that's
so so I wrote Mono a message on Facebook saying, "Hey, you don't know me, but I'm a big fan, and I'm Adrian. I play with the MPG horns. The people who work with Prince want to know if you want to come out to Paisley for some sessions." And Mono wrote me back and was like, "That's cool." So he sent me his number. I forwarded his number. Yeah, Mono's a man of few words. He don't say a lot. I forwarded his number to management. They brought him out to be Judith's bass player. And then after the tour was over with Bette Midler, I got a call saying Prince wants to do like an experimental project with you and Mono. So then I flew out to Paisley Park to start doing this like electronic experimental project with Mono and Prince. How that happened. So Nelly, I didn't really know. He said Houseway. I didn't know Mono before that. I knew who he was because he was famous. He was Instagram famous, YouTube famous.
Right.
But yeah, so that's how that whole thing started. And now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, so I'm the one who connected Mono and Prince.
Oh wow. You heard it first on Brandon Robertson. So
Yeah.
Yee. We got a question from our other good homie, Ricio from New York. Mr. Reese's Pieces himself. Shout out to my man Ricio, man, and the Reese's
Jake.
Man. Shout out to Emily, his wife, man. Awesome trombonist as well, man. Shout out, man. Shout out to my Florida State crew. Ricio question was, how do you feel about the term artist? It's usually related to the famous person on stage, but sometimes the least knowledgeable person in the art form on stage.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's a lot of ways you can look at the term artist. I never I never really considered myself an artist until, of course, until people like Prince started making me look at myself that way.
Right.
I was content in being this what I call the side man or the supporting act. I like that.
Okay.
Because I didn't I still to this day I don't really like being the center of attention. I know that's hard to believe because I'm light skinned and I got long hair. But I just really didn't really care for being the center of attention. It was too much responsibility.
Right. Right. Right.
And I liked being able to come in, do my job, and then go about my business without any real responsibility. But being an artist is a responsibility, and that's what defines it: is how much responsibility you take in the art form. Because I think what Ricio is getting to is that not everybody is an artist, but a lot of people call themselves artists.
Right.
But being an artist is more than just being able to play or put out a record. You have to take responsibility and not settle, never settle for anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much how I feel about the word. It's just it's all about how you define it.
And I have a question. Man, what do you tell an artist that somebody who's trying to come up, right? And they see someone like you and they're like, man, I want to try to get in this space. I want to get in this realm with these folks. Like, how does an artist work towards it? Because Prince clearly defined to you what an artist is supposed to be and what entails to be an artist and be labeled as one. So I take Ricio's questions and I think, like, am I an artist or am I just considered, like you said, a supporting act because I don't have this platform that the main person on stage does? So
it can be both.
So how do you distinguish that when you're doing your shows and when you put a band together? Is your band are they the band how Prince labeled it, like you guys as the band, or is it Adrian and the band?
It's Adrian and the band when I do my show. But but the reason is this, because 9 times out of 10 in the industry that we live in, I am not at the caliber yet, and I may never be, but I'm not at the caliber that Prince is, or a Bruno Mars or somebody like that, where, I mean, like, if you look at Kenny G, man, Kenny G's had the same band since that day that he gave me my horn.
Wow.
He's got the same musicians, or most of the time he's carrying the same musicians with him. Once you get to a point where, when I do my show, 9 times out of 10, I'm flying into a venue, I'm flying into a city. The band is regional. The band is hired there. I'm not traveling with my band most of the time. Especially if I'm going somewhere where I have to fly there. I'm not, because they can't afford to hire me and my full band and crew to come. So most of the time when I'm doing a show, it's an Adrian Crutchfield show, and the band is just the band.
Got you.
Now, if I form a group, for example, with a couple of other artists, like, let's say, for example, if you and I and let's say you and I and Nelson and Ricio decide to form a group. We're all artists, but we decide to form a group and go on tour together, like BWB or Summer Horns or any of those groups. Then we can be considered a band, and the whole band is the artist. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but as far as what you were saying earlier about what to say to the cats who are coming up and trying to figure out their route, I think it's all about success. Your definition of success is what's going to get you to that said success. It's all about how you define it. So my idea of success may be different than your idea of success. Some people's idea of success. Brandon McRae is here. Oh God.
Wait, Brandon McRae. Wait, B-Mac?
B-Mac is here. Brandon McRae is
B. Shout out to my man B-Mac, one of the best preachers in the game, holding it down, and a bad drummer and bass player. Hallelujah.
And guitar. He's playing guitar too. And organ.
Brandon, you just do it all, man. Us Brandons, we hold it down.
Brandon was my college roommate.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And one of my best friends, man. That was my guy. But no, so I'm sorry, I had to shout him out because it's B-Mac, bro. He's here.
B-Mac, man, that's the homie.
But no, so like man, the definition of success is what it is. So for you, success may look like fame and fortune and playing with the biggest artist and doing these things. So once you define that, then you start making a plan as to how to attack that and how to get to those positions. For me, success basically means that I make a living doing something that I love to do and I'm passionate about, which means even if I'm not making a living, I would do this. As you know, we struggled and I was still doing this. You struggled, you're still doing this. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we wanted to do. That's the success, is that look at us now. We're fat. You know, like we're chubby, Brent. Like you remember how small we were, bro? I didn't have any, I mean, I still don't have a chest.
Bro, show him the picture. Show him the picture again.
I gotta find the picture, but
show him the picture again. For those who just chimed in.
For those of you who missed it, Brandon's gonna love this.
Oh, Lord, yeah. B-Mac gonna love this one.
I gotta go find him again, man. I was just looking on Facebook. All these pictures, by the way, all these pictures are on Facebook.
Oh, don't tell them that because they're gonna go search.
Too late. I already told him. I already told him. It's already out there.
Oh,
anybody got any questions? Yeah.
Yeah, we got one last minute question. Let's see here. We're waiting for it to come in. Yeah, there it is, right there. Yeah, that's what you call hungry, people. That's starving. And we got the braids too.
Oh, we got braids. We were at the lake. That was at the res, bro.
Yeah.
That was at the res. We used to go kayaking. I see John back there in the background. Shout out to Kevin Barnett, the great.
Man. Shout out to my man KB, man. For those that don't know, Kevin Barnett was a up and coming comedian. Did a lot of projects. Eric Andre's show. He did a lot of stuff on Comedy Central. He wrote for a lot of Geico. Yeah, he wrote for a lot of people, and he passed away last year in Mexico. And we love him to death, man. He was one of the first people we met in college. Literally, like that first week, I met Adrian, Kevin. I met all y'all in the same week, you know, and that's family, man. So shout out to his brothers, Corey and Chris Barnett. Shout out to the cuzzo Dwayne Wolf. That's my homie. So yeah, man. Adrian, I don't think we have any more questions in.
Somebody said something about crackheads. I'm trying to see what they said.
Oh, that was Brandon.
Oh yeah, I know you got pictures, Brandon.
Yeah, I know B-Man got some pictures. But hey, guys, everybody that's watching, I want to say thank y'all for tuning in for this evening's episode of Brandon Robertson Soul Hour. Hey, can we give a virtual hand clap to my man Adrian Crutchfield, my special guest? Yes. Thank you so much, Adrian, man, for blessing us. Man, do you have any last words for the people?
No, man. I'm just happy to be here. I hope every one of you is still out there doing what you need to do and striving for the best you that you can be. Don't matter. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks, as long as you're happy with yourself. You know what I'm saying? And if not, then you need to change it and do something about it. But I think everybody here is doing that, and I'm super proud of all of y'all, man. I mean, all the homies that are here watching from school. I miss y'all. I love you. I'm super proud of you. I can't even say that enough.
Me too, man. And it was great to see all of our old college friends. And what I want to leave my audience on this note. Myself and Adrian, you know, I do consider myself an artist. I will stand firm on that, man. And I thank you for clarifying that, Adrian, to everybody, even the musicians who's watching this, man. Like, we are all artists.
Hey, man, I'm gonna tell you when I knew you were an artist. I'm gonna tell you when I knew you were an artist, and not just a musician. It was the first time I saw you take frontman position with Naked Lunch.
Oh, you mentioned that earlier. You mentioned Naked Lunch earlier.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Naked Lunch was a band that Actually, matter of fact, B-Mac was in that band too.
Yeah.
I just thought about that. Brandon was in that band too.
Yeah.
Man, Naked Lunch was a band that
Steely Dan
comprised.
cover band.
It literally it was Tallahassee's largest cover band because it comprised of the entire jazz program from Fort.
Yeah.
From anybody who was in the jazz program from 2004 to 2007 was in that band. Everybody was in that band, and people would come out to that show, and they'd see like 10 horn players on stage.
Yeah.
It'd be
We
myself.
no money.
It'd be myself on bass, Graham Robinson on bass,
Yeah.
Ryan Way on Rhodes. I got Philip Mayer on drums, B-Mac on drums, Larry Wilson on drums,
Yeah.
Max on guitar, Max Dixon on guitar.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Pete was in the band. Pete Carroll, I see you, Pete.
Yep.
Pete was in the band playing trumpet. Man, it was literally an all-star Florida State jazz program band.
Yeah.
Like a big band. So yeah, shout out to everybody who was in Naked Lunch, man. But we're gonna wrap this up. I love you all. Thank you all for supporting my show. I hope y'all have enjoyed yourselves. If you do enjoy this show, I ask for two things. I ask you for one, to please subscribe to my YouTube channel, Brandon Robertson Soul Hour web series. Two, I ask you to follow me on my social media handles, Facebook at Brandon Robertson Music, on Instagram at Brandon Robertson Music. Follow me on Twitter at Brandon Rob Music. Also, follow my man Adrian Crutchfield at Real Good Sax. Yeah, I believe that's on. If that all handles. No,
that's Instagram. Twitter is just Good Sax.
Good Sax.
But if you just Google Good Sax, you'll find me.
Oh Lord, here we go. Hey, whatever, boy. Well, hey guys, y'all have a good evening. I love y'all, man. Stay tuned next week. Next week I have Grammy Latin winner Jose Valentino on the show. Another close brother of mine, and we gonna really get into it because Mr. Jose is also going to be doing a bilingual segment with me. So we'll have this.
Wait.
Yeah, you heard right.
You speaking Spanish now?
What you mean?
What
you mean?
Okay, all right. You got some secrets. Okay.
Hey, man. Come on.
Jelly been training you. Shout out to Jelly. Go ahead, girl.
Shout out to my beautiful wife, my baby.
Jelly training him.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, hey, I know I'm gonna be talking to you soon. I'm gonna see you soon, bro. So much love. I love you, bro. Thank you for doing this, man. I really appreciate it. Shout out. Oh, one more shout out too. I got two shout outs. Everybody, please go follow my sound engineer / co-host Adam Klein. 1451 Music at 1451 Music. Please make sure you follow him. He's the best engineer in the game, holding us down every single week on the show. Shout out to his beautiful wife, Julia, for all the advertising that she's been helping us with the flyers and everything. Much love. Thank you so much. And also, shout out to all the wives. Matter of fact, shout out to all the wives.
Yeah.
Beautiful wives hold us husbands down. That's right. All right, guys, we out. Great episode tonight. I'll see y'all next week. Tune in. Much love, brother. Love you, bro.
Love you back.
Peace, love, happiness.
See y'all.